Shalom. This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. I want to start off by saying thank you to all of our Booster Club members for your many donations and much more, your prayers. We visited faraway countries and strange lands. We've even spoken to dignitaries and were detained for spreading the glorious gospel in Cuba. The truth is that the descendants of the 12 tribes of Israel were scattered throughout the world. Help us on our journey as we continue to raise up the nation of Israel. 12 tribes worldwide. Join or donate today. Shalom.
How you doing, sir? What's your name?
Good, you?
I'm all right. What's your name?
I'm Leonard Davis. I work here at the store.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Zephaniah.
Okay.
All right, real quick, Leonard. So, you said you're Black American, right?
Afro-American.
Afro-American. So where do you see this on? Where do you see that on this side? On this side are the names that our oppressors gave us, right? That's what America calls it. On this side is what God calls it. So where do you see American blacks or African American or whatever on this side? You see it? Look right here.
I see African black, that's it.
See? It says American black. What's that next to that? Judah.
Judah.
So the Most High God calls us Judah.
Right.
So why do you think it is we call ourselves American blacks? Because you're an elder gentleman, so you've been around sometimes. You've seen some things. Yeah. You probably lived through the times where we were called Afro-American,
right.
And we were called Negro,
right.
Then we were called African American,
And colored people.
Colored people, yeah, you lived through those times, right?
Yeah.
So why is it that it's changed so much? And God just calls us Judah. You ever think about that?
Not really.
We're gonna find out. Give me verse 37. We're gonna find out. Actually, start at verse 15.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15.
All right, so right now we're gonna read about Moses. Moses was from the tribe of Levi. So Moses, being a priest over the nation of Israel, he's gonna be giving the nation of Israel stipulations. He's gonna be giving us a contract from the Most High. If we do His laws, then we're gonna be blessed. If we don't do the laws, we're gonna be cursed.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So he said, if you don't listen to God's laws, something's gonna happen. Read.
To observe to do all His commandments and His statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So Leonard, let me ask you, are curses a good thing or are they a bad thing?
A what?
Curses. Are they a good thing or are they a bad thing?
Bad thing.
Yeah, obviously we all know the definition of word. It's a bad thing, right? So Moses said, this is coming from the Most High. Moses said to us, he said, if you don't listen to God's laws that He's given to us and us only, we're going to be cursed. Right? Let's find one of the curses that were put upon us because we didn't want to listen. Verse 37.
Verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb and a byword.
He said we're going to become an astonishment. He said we're going to become a proverb and a byword, right? I'm going to deal with that last one. Byword. You know what a byword is? It's being called anything outside of your God-given name.
Right.
So being called American black, or what you said, Afro-American, or Negro, or colored people like they did during the Jim Crow era, right?
Right.
That is a byword. God said that's going to be upon us because we didn't want to keep His laws.
Right.
Verse 16.
Verse 16. Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
Now Leonard, he said we're going to be cursed in the city. You know we've been cursed in the city since, we'll start with 1619, right? That's when slavery started, right? The transatlantic slave trade when they brought us from Africa, right? So look at this sign. What do you see on this sign? What do you see on this sign?
Black slave.
Black slavery, right?
White slave owner.
Exactly, white slave owners. Read that again.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 16. Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
So one of the curses, because we didn't keep God's laws, was that we're going to be cursed in the city. You know how we were cursed in the city back in 1619?
Bring it out.
They massacred us.
Right.
They took us from where we were living when we were on the west coast of Africa. Even some of us that were living in the Americas.
Right.
Some of us living in Europe. They took us from our cities and put us on slave ships and brought us all the way across the ocean to be slaves in America.
Right.
Right? Read that part again. Cursed in the city.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
So then later on, we were cursed in the city because when we got over here to the Americas, when we were actually as slaves, you know what they would do? They would keep us on the plantation, and then if the slave master wanted something from the store, but you know, it wasn't anything, it was just a little small something that one person could carry, he would take one of his nigger slaves, right, and give him a pass,
Right.
and allow him to go from wherever he was in the field,
Right.
to go into the city to purchase it from the store.
Right.
But that's the only reason why he was allowed in the city.
Right.
That's being cursed in the city.
We call that the house nigga.
You call that the what?
House nigga.
Exactly. They had the house niggas do that, right?
Yeah.
Read that again.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
Then guess what? A little bit later on, we were cursed in the city because when we had the what was it, the Emancipation Proclamation, right? When Abraham Lincoln so-called freed the slaves. How you doing, sis? You come over here and learn something too. When Abraham Lincoln so-called freed the slaves, right?
1865.
1865, right? Sis, what's your name?
Faye.
Faye. Okay, so we have Faye and Linda. All right, my name's Zephaniah. So Faye, real quick, what's your nationality?
I'm Haitian.
You're Haitian? Okay,
Yes,
so
the tribal Levi.
so you're tribal Levi. Okay, so you seen us before?
No, I know of you.
Okay, you know. All right, we're going a little bit through some African American history, right? In the Bible, right? Read that again.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 16. Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
So later on, around 1865, right, Leonard? We were cursed in the city because even though we were allowed to, what was I gonna say? Even though we were allowed to be in the actual cities, right? They had what was called sundown towns.
Right.
We weren't allowed to be out past dark.
Right.
That's a curse.
Right.
That means you can't even stand outside on your front porch.
Right.
The cops are gonna come by and they're gonna arrest you for it. Multiple cases for that. That's being cursed in the city. And today, we're cursed in the city as well because look at where we live. We live in the ghettos.
Bring it
we live at
on.
the bottom of society. Haiti's destroyed. America's destroyed.
Right.
Especially where we live. Because there's other parts of America that look beautiful, that are perfectly intact. But in the ghettos where we live, no, it's the bottom. And Faith, do you know why we got these curses on us?
Yeah, we moved out of alignment with God. God gave us very specific commandments. And
Exactly.
we couldn't even do that.
Hey, Leonard, did you hear what Faith said?
No, I didn't.
Say it again, Faith.
God gave us very specific commandments, and we did not obey those commandments.
Exactly. He gave us commandments.
We are reaping what we've sown, disobedience.
Exactly. So because we didn't obey God's laws that He gave to us, what happened?
Yeah, cursed.
We got cursed, right? So, what do you have? No, I don't want that. I want 1 Corinthians 3:16. Give me that. 1 Corinthians 3:16. Because you're absolutely right, Faye, and Lennon, I know you understand too. The reason why we're in this predicament right now, the bottom of society, because we didn't want to keep God's laws. It's just that simple. So, if the reason why we were put in slavery was because we didn't keep God's laws, what should we do to get out of this captivity?
Number one, come into awareness that we are a chosen people by God.
Okay.
So we have to honor our mother and father. You know. Even
Okay.
in
So
the
we have to do what?
We have to obey.
We have to obey what? What do we have to
know
obey,
what the
Leonard?
laws are.
Leonard, what is it that we have to obey?
God's commandments.
We have to obey God's commandments. It's
Right.
just that simple. It's that simple. It's nothing difficult. He knows that we're a simple people. We'll do simple things all the time, so He's going to make it very clear in the Bible. And there's a whole bunch of different examples for the same thing. Because we're going to forget. So let's find out one law that we need to keep as a people, right?
1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 16. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God?
So he said that we're the temple of God, right? So if we're the temple of God, is the temple of God supposed to be like a trap house? Or is it supposed to be a place that's sacred, right? There's only certain type of materials, only certain type of people.
Right.
When you read in the Bible, especially throughout the books of Moses, right? There were only certain people were allowed inside of the temple.
Right.
You couldn't, even if you were one of those people that were allowed inside of the temple, if you had a cut, you wouldn't have been allowed. You have to come correct,
Bring it out.
right? Because it's the temple of God. It's not a trap house. It's not the ghetto.
Right.
It's holy ground.
Right.
So you got to come correct. Read that again.
Know ye not that ye are the temple of God?
So Leonard, Faye, you guys, we as a people are the temple of God. So what does that mean if we're the temple of God?
not only are we the temple of God, but individually, our bodies are the temple of God.
Okay, but what does that mean? As the temple of God, what does that mean for us?
We have to stay holy. We have to keep
stay
guard
holy.
on what we allow
Leonard.
in the temple.
Exactly, Leonard. What does that mean? What does that mean that we can't put inside of our bodies if we gotta stay holy?
No. I salute y'all guys, man. You heard?
Right?
1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 16. Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you? If any man defile the temple of God, him shall God destroy.
Okay, so you know how that's not organic? Give me Deuteronomy 28:61. Because God said he's gonna destroy you if you put what's the word I'm looking for? If you put toxins in your body, right?
Right.
You put carcinogens in your body, poisons in your body. He said he's gonna destroy you, right? So what happens to people after they smoke for years upon a time? What happens to them? What happens to their body? What happens to their temple?
What happens
It deteriorates, right?
Right.
What happens to what ends up happening to their fingernails?
Bring
It
it
ends
out.
up yellowing, right? What happens to their teeth? It ends up rotting.
Bring
What
it
happens
out.
to their lips? The same thing. What happens to their lungs?
Teach.
They're not able to breathe properly.
Right.
Read what you got in Deuteronomy 28.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 61.
And now we're going back to the curses that God's going to put upon us because we didn't want to keep his laws. So because we wanted to continue smoking, because we wanted to smoke weed, smoke cigarettes, smoke hookah, smoke vape, whatever the hell it is, right? He's going to put curses on us. Let's read one of the curses.
Also, every sickness and every plague.
So every sickness and every plague, right? Like lung cancer is a sickness, right? You got tuberculosis, that's a sickness, right? Read.
Which is not written in the book of this law,
None of that's written in the Bible. Read.
them will the Lord bring upon thee.
God's gonna put that upon us as a people because we didn't want to keep his law. He's gonna plague you with that. Oh, praise.
We used to scream black power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission, minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold, from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.